Uh, the zero uh, sibling spouse syndrome. I call them the zero sibling suffering syndrome. Zero Z sibling suffering ZSS syndrome. See, I have seen this for the last 30 years. I have seen this ZSS syndrome, zero sibling syndrome, working on. See, what actually happens is when you're a zero sibling syndrome, or you're grown up as a single son or a single daughter, what actually happens is you're the pet of the mother, you become the star of the family, and you're being taken so much of care. And if you're about in a culture where you have to respect the elders, don't talk about the grandfather, don't talk about anybody, we will take care of you, we will take care of you. Okay. And that too, if the zero sibling syndrome is born, the uh, inferiority complex shielding. Okay. So we will take care of you. Don't worry, we will take care of you. This person never had how to raise the conflict. He doesn't know how to manage a conflict. Never had a misunderstanding. He never had his own private time. He had his own company, no friends, and everything was go to mother, get things done. Go to father, get things done. And such a case came to me where he got married with a lady, and afterward, what has happened? He straight went from school to college, and from college he got a job. And he was a techie, and you know the modern techie of the mobile generation. So loyalty was developed for the parents and grandparents. He doesn't have a voice to say, and no friends. He became an introvert. He entered an introvert group, a culture where no friends. They were only focusing about output. As a result, what happened? He has developed something like a. His father was a dominating type of person, and his father was mostly a worker turned into an executive. And for when a worker turns into an executive, still is a worker. Okay, still is a worker. So everything is dominated, and the parent decisions are dominated. Son cannot raise the voice, wife cannot raise the voice, he cannot think of raising the voice. And when he developed this irritational bowel syndrome, IBS, and he went into medicine, he told it's a lifelong thing, you have to take medicine. He went for 5 years. And this happened when he got married. And the marriage was arranged, and the wife's side, they felt there's something wrong with this guy. This guy is cheated, and he could not explain to his wife. And wife didn't get a job because of that period. She didn't get a job, and they had very little earnings, and so the wife didn't get a job. This guy was only a guy who was doing it, and she became pregnant. She wanted to go for a job, she couldn't get the job, and they have to be forced to be in a joint family. And as usual, the mother-in-law problem, daughter-in-law problem. And the girl was also another girl with the ZS, zero sibling syndrome. She doesn't have a sibling. Therefore, she is an independent character, the alpha character. An alpha character, you know what will happen. Alpha character, they got a firebrand. Okay. So this is added to him, then this person has become a victim for anxiety. He cannot convince his wife, he cannot convince his father, and he lost a few promotions because he want to settle certain things because the mother-in-law problem, father-in-law problem. So as a result, what happened? He was slowly giving himself away inside. He was caving inside because by nature he is not a person who can raise a voice. He cannot raise a voice for himself, raise a voice for. Sometimes he support the wife, sometimes he support the father, mother. Sometimes he never can raise the voice. So what actually happened is here is in the ZSS syndrome. What actually happens is when suppose you have a sister with you, suppose you have a brother with you, and grew up together. Let us say you're growing together, so you start appreciating the nuances, or you can call the subtler aspects of the opposite gender. And so, what actually happens is you start respecting the gender, you start respecting the moves, respecting the moods. Unconsciously, you become a sort of a non-verbal riddle of the opposite sex gender, and you become a mother to that. I would call them the mothering aspect of the opposite gender. That quality is coming to you. When I was there with my sister and I grew up together and I saw her plus and minus, her emotions, her sensitivities, her periods. And I became so sensitive that what dress she wears, why the mood goes. Then I became a mother to her. So that mothering quality in me was developed not from me because that I have seen my sister suffering and I have become a mother to her. The same vice versa. So when there is a supporting sibling syndrome and you start empathizing with them, you unconsciously get a mothering, micro mothering qualities in you. I can call it the empathic mothering qualities in you. So this empathic mothering qualities are not developed as a result, the children are suffering. And the same thing, he cannot handle his wife, he cannot handle parents. And now there's a point where the woman told that now I cannot handle your parents and I'm not going to be there. My kid, I'm going back to him. So I would call them the zero sibling syndrome.